Hello and welcome to another edition of Power of the Pen. I am Luana Bradford, and I'm excited to be joining you here from e360tv.com, where we come every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern to talk about books, authors, as well as individuals who've been inspired by a book and want to be featured on the show. So if this sounds like you, if you're a new author, an existing author, or perhaps you've read a book that has really motivated you and encouraged you and you want to share it with the world, reach out to us later on in the show. I'll put the information below so that you can be a part of Power of the Pen. Today is a very special Power of the Pen edition because we are, can you believe it, almost finished with third quarter. And I thought that it would be great to talk about those books that we featured on this platform in 2025 that have really received a lot of feedback, great viewership. And those books are Chop Wood, Carry Water by Joshua Metcalf, Chop Wood, Carry Water. John Gordon's book, The Energy Bus. And The Leadership Advantage. So we have, again, Chop Wood, Carry Water. There we go. And I don't know what's going on with my camera, but it's all good. And The Leadership Advantage. And these books, The Leadership Advantage by Joel D. Smith, John Gordon, The Energy Bus, and Chop Wood, Carry Water by Joshua Metcalf, have a central theme in their book, which is designed for leaders, entrepreneurs, business owners, as well as individuals. You can look at your life and ask yourself, how can I get better and better? What can I do to improve where I am today? So we realize that we really don't compete with other people. Sometimes we get caught up in that limited mindset, thinking that competition is to the right and to the left of us. But really, we are uniquely created and we are in our lanes, right? The lanes we're designed to be in. And so the goal is to always compete, if you will, with yourself to get to be better today than you were the day before. In fact, what actor Sidney Poitier often said that every day he was striving to be better than he was the day before. And I'm going to unpackage a little bit of these books where they speak specifically to improvement methodology, mindset improvement, shifting how you stand and you relate to other people. And we will make sure that if you want to see the full episode where we featured these books, we will ensure that you have that information as well. We are on E360 TV under the Fresh Start channel, and you can find these and other amazing episodes featuring books and authors. So we will be back in just a moment to unpackage these three brilliant pieces.
Power of the Pen with Luana Bradford, expanding the impact and influence of authors from around the world. If you want to change the world, pick up your pen and write, said Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Books are uniquely portable magic. Power of the Pen spotlights authors from around the world. Listen as authors share messages that educate, motivate, inspire, and entertain. Join us each Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern on e360tv.com.
All right, let's just jump into it. Again, this episode, special episode, and it is entitled From Process to Purpose, Books Driving Growth and Impact. And many of you may be thinking, oh my gosh, I cannot believe 2025 is coming rapidly to a close. I don't know, am I where I want to be? I'm kind of struggling, and you don't know what to do next. Well, pause, give yourself some grace, breathe. If you're a reader, and I encourage you to be if you're not, go to Amazon.com and pick up these three books. Again, Chop Wood and Carry Water by John Metcalf, The Energy Bus Joshua Metcalf by John Gordon, and The Leadership Advantage by Joel D. Smith, all best-selling authors. And let's talk a little bit about this. As I mentioned, these books have all been featured on Power of the Pen this year. But what I wanted to do, because as we're getting close to the end of the year, I'm noticing people are asking certain questions. I'm seeing on social media, what do I do? How can I make more impact, influence, and income? How can I grow? How can I scale? Well, these books kind of go back to the basics. So let's start first with Chop Wood and Carry Water. And it's how to fall in love with the process of becoming great. How to fall in love with the process of becoming great. And we often hear our coaches, mentors, guides telling us, just trust the process, trust the process. And often we're so anxious to get to the end that we don't want to do the process. We get frustrated with the process. It's like, okay, I got it already. Can we move on? But it's the repetition of that process that builds the resiliency, the endurance, the aptitude that we need in order to move forward, right? In order to move that needle. I want to read you something that Joshua stated here. He says, remember, greatness isn't for the chosen few, but for the few who consistently and persistently choose. Again, greatness isn't for the chosen few, but for the few who consistently and persistently choose. We are part of that, I want it now society, or that start, stop. And we're wondering, why are we not moving the needle? Why are we not progressing farther along? Why are we getting frustrated and anxious? We're looking to the left and the right of us, and we're seeing people doing more, achieving more, and we're wondering, well, why them and not me? And even the Bible says that the race is not given to those who are swift and to the strong, but to those who endure to the end, meaning you're not going to give up. You're going to keep pressing. You're going to trust the process. Are you enduring to the end? Or did you give up? Did you give up on that goal, on that new skill set that you wanted to develop? Or perhaps it's something that you didn't really master, but you felt that I'm going to get this coach and he or she is going to help me reach that level of mastery. But yet you found yourself not following through with the assignments, looking at challenges, starting them and not really completing them. Perhaps going to a few trainings, but not all, because any excuse will do. We can find any reason, right, to keep us from moving forward. So this is what he says also. He says, talent can be a kind of lottery. John A. Talent athlete is often less likely to develop the skills and work ethics that a less talented one has to develop just to survive. And because of that, they may end up worse off down the road. They never learn the work ethics, persistence, and grit needed to overcome the inevitable challenges that life throws our way. See, those who rise to a certain level of success in their life and in their business, I guarantee you they've gone through something. There has been some element of perseverance, consistency, resilience, grit that has come forward in their journey. He says, I know that it can seem that life is unfair and you want things to be easier, but the rough side of the mountain will actually prepare you for life and much better than the smooth side. Believe it or not, the setbacks of today can quickly become the forging blades of greatness for tomorrow. Now, how many of you can relate to that? I know I can. But when we're going through the trials, through the fire, we can't see on the other side. We are just feeling the pain and the frustration. It's like, oh my gosh, when is this gruel going to be over, right? This grueling journey going to be over. But when we look back, hindsight's 2020, right? When we look back, we're thinking, I did that. I overcame that. I achieved that. I met that goal. I met that objective. And with that resiliency and that added strength that we've gained, when the next challenge or obstacle comes, and it will, if we keep journeying, we can have that wall of remembrance that, okay, if I overcame that, that tells me that I have something within me that can continue to drive and press forward. He says, believe it or not, the setbacks of today can quickly become the forging blades of greatness for tomorrow. In fact, a wise man once said, hardship often prepares ordinary people for extraordinary destiny. Hardship often prepares ordinary people for extraordinary destiny. So I'm going to stop, excuse me, right there. As we talk about Chalkwood and Carrying Water by John Metcalf, I encourage you go to Amazon, get the book, connect with the author. And this is the first piece of the equation, which is the process, understanding the process, right? And sometimes we can't get past first base because we're stuck on, I don't want to go through the process. So that's the first one that I encourage you to get and add to your library if you haven't. And all these books are really simple, easy reads. They're like fireside chats, conversations, gives you principles and things to think about, questions to ask yourself as you're reading through the book. So real time application that's very relevant for today's environment. The next one, The Energy Bus. This book is near and dear to my heart, if you can see it. Hopefully, there you go. By John Gordon. Got a lot of J's going on today. John Gordon, 10 Rules to Fuel Your Life, Work, and Team with Positive Energy. The reason why this book is near and dear to my heart is my family we read books together. And I lost my dad almost a year ago. It'll be a year in 2 weeks. And this was one of the last books this was the last book that we read with him and were reading together as a family. And it was so powerful because we were just looking at just energetically, how are we showing up for each other, for him? And he loved to read. He was an avid reader, and he enjoyed us reading to him, the grandkids reading pieces of this book to him. And even as he lay, getting ready to transition, we read pieces of this book to him. And it encourages us to realize that there are going to be those energy vampires out there. There are going to be individuals who come and say what you can't do or what's not going to work. There are going to be individuals that are going to pepper you with a lot of negativity that's going to make you feel not the best. It's going to pull you down. In fact, sometimes we can become infected by that negativity that we begin saying it to ourselves over and over again. And we're wondering, why does life seem to be so difficult? Or why, when we walk in and we're around certain people, suddenly we feel like just energy is being zapped from us. We don't feel good. It's just not a good space in being. And these 10 rules that John Gordon goes through is really rules to help you assess yourself. What's going on in your head? How is your lived experience or current experiences impacting how you relate and deal with others? Are you putting up unsuspected walls? Are you allowing the energy vampires in? Or are you pointing fingers and not really willing to accept accountability and responsibility of how you show up with others? So again, when we're looking at getting better in this space, again, how can we improve? There's a chapter 22, where he talks about better today than yesterday. We just talked about that, right? Better today than yesterday. What's missing? What can I do better? How can I show my team that I'm on their bus? George thought as he sat at the bus stop. Wednesday morning, thinking about his conversations with Jamie and Jose and his team's overall performance yesterday, and the day's events began to run through his mind in a way a football coach revisit every play of a game or dancer would rehash every move, every twist, every turn of her performance. See, he was being challenged that his team wasn't performing to the best of their ability, and they were at risk when leadership was looking at them. Would they be able to come together? The team was not very cohesive at that time because there was a lot of resentment in the way they felt that perhaps they weren't being seen, heard, or respected. We're all there, right? And George was taking this as being, okay, it's them and not me. but how can we show up in a way that shifts the energy around us? And that's what this book is talking about, shifting that energy, being aware, becoming, improving our emotional intelligence, right? Becoming more self-aware and improving each day so that our environment, we don't sit in a place where we're always reacting, but we can respond because we're setting the playbook to get the results that we want. We're expecting good results. We're not looking and expecting the negativity to come our way. We're going to be back in just a moment, and we're going to get into a little more about better today than yesterday. 1 million. Looks like we may be having a little technical difficulties. Hopefully this is coming through okay, but let's talk a little bit about George. He said that now that he was thinking clearly, because it says here, George had always known that it was critical that one can only improve if they're willing to learn and grow from their mistakes and build upon their successes. So George is like, I know this, but then why am I not doing this? Somehow he forgot in all the stuff that was happening in life to keep learning and growing. Even in the negative situations, even in the ash and trash in life, there are opportunities to learn and grow. And George, the central character of the book, was saying, I've forgotten about that, right? How many of us have forgotten about that in applying learning and growth in our day-to-day journey? It says he now was thinking clearly again and remembered the great advice he had received from his college lacrosse coach, who told him the goal is not to be better than anyone else, but better than you were yesterday. Indeed, George wanted to be a better leader, a better person, a better husband, and a better father. He wanted Jose to feel good about working for him, and he wanted Jamie to see that he wasn't going to implode. George's goal was to improve every day, to help his team improve and hopefully deliver an incredible launch to the executives in the NGR company. And that's what's most important. So again, when we think about the first book, Chop Wood and Carry Water, Joshua Metcalf is challenging us to trust the process, right? And in the energy bus, despite what's happening, John Gordon is challenging us to embrace learning, embrace growing, even in the trials, even in the challenges. That we can get better, we can find a way to improve, because now we're shifting our lens, right? We're not focusing on what's not going right. That's obvious. Okay, but what can I get out of this? And when you shift that way of thinking and looking at your life situation, suddenly you feel more empowered, perhaps a little bit more in control, more self-aware, more self-assured that this too will pass, right? Well, the next book that we're going to talk about is The Leadership Advantage by Joel D. Smith. Again, if you're curious about how you can get these books, they're all three of them are available on Amazon. The Leadership Advantage here by Joel D. Smith. We have The Energy Bus by John Gordon, and Chop Wood, Carry Water by Joshua Metcalf are all available on Amazon. And why am I bringing these books to your attention is on Power of the Pen. What do we talk about? Books. And these books have been the highest ranking episodes that we've had this season. We've gotten a lot of feedback from them, from the episodes. And this is telling us that there is a central theme that everyone, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're in business, if you're in leadership, it's like, how do I improve? How do I increase my reach? How do I increase my impact, my influence, my income? Well, we do that by what? getting better and better, trusting the process, controlling our energy around us, our mindset. And then we'll find out what Joel Smith has to say about leading with purpose. But before we do that, I want to give a special shout out to our sponsor for today's show, Dr. Patricia Rogers, and her upcoming event, Entrepreneurs Living the Dream.
Join us for Entrepreneurs Living the Dream 2025 conference on October 18th at the DoubleTree Hotel in Atlanta, 8:30 a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hosted by Dr. Patricia Rogers, CEO of Unity in Service and the Dynamic Visibility Team. Vendors, panelists, and speakers, this event is your opportunity to elevate your brand. Secure your seat at speakersconference2025.eventbrite.com. See you at the conference.
Okay, we are back for now the third book in our salute to these brilliant books that have been featured on Power of the Pen in 2025, From Process to Purpose. And now we are wrapping up with The Leadership Advantage by Joel D. Smith, How to Cultivate Leadership Skills That Drive Success. He says, riding the waves of adversity. Most of us have heard of Murphy's Law, and I'm certain most people have experienced in some shape, form, or fashion during their day-to-day activities. You know, those days where everything can go wrong, and often it does. We've all been there. But the real trick, Joel says, is not just to ride out the storm, but to dance in the rain. You never realize how liberating just being in the rain without concerns about messing up your hair or having wet clothes or shoes can be. Adversity has this sneaky way of teaching us lessons we didn't think we needed or weren't necessarily looking for. Now, you're hearing some parallels here, right? From trusting the process, right? If you're trusting the process and you're going through the process, you may feel that it's mundane and routine, but when you look back, you're going to realize that you learned certain things through that process. The same thing with the energy bus. When you realize your role in the energy around you and the control that you can have, despite the challenges that may be having, the people who are around you, the energy vampires that are around you, that enables you to become better and better, right? And how you execute, how you show up. And he's saying, Murphy's going to happen. Waves are going to come. Adversity is going to come. You know, he's not saying it's not going to happen. It will happen. And in that, there are lessons. Lessons very often we don't even think of that we need until we go through it and we look back. He said it's about finding the silver lining, even if it's a bit water-soaked and tarnished. It's worth noting these moments of adversity aren't just hiccups or stumbling blocks in the journey. And I often say when things are happening, find the opportunity in the chaos and translate those stumbling blocks into stepping stones. He says these hiccups or stumbling blocks are integral parts of the road itself. Each challenge, each setback has the potential to be a profound teacher. Think about that. The setbacks have an opportunity to be a profound teacher. And I know you're thinking, Luana, this is elementary. I get it. But then why are so many struggling and feeling like you're on this hamster wheel of despair and frustration? And why me? And am I ever going to get ahead? Or look at them. Right? We get infected with comparisonitis. If we got the simple messages here, many of us would not be sidelining ourselves, benching ourselves in life, and would be getting up, running our race, full out, committed, knowing that we understand the process, we understand the assignment, we understand that we are in control of our energy, and we understand that we can rise up as leaders and influence and change in order to increase our impact, influence, and income. He says adversity pushes us out of our comfort zones and forces us, again, adversity forces us to innovate, to think on our feet, and to find resources we didn't have. It's during these times leadership is tested. Character is tested. True character is formed. More often than not, the lessons we learn from traversing through these tough times provide the wisdom we need to handle future challenges with greater ease and confidence. And I'm going to read this last piece here. The ability to maintain composure, To remain optimistic and to lead others through uncertainty becomes a testament to our capability and resilience. So I want to say thank you. Thank you, Joel D. Smith. Thank you, John Gordon. Thank you, Joshua Metcalf, for taking these amazing messages. They're instructional guides, but again, they're done in a way that it's not this weighty textbook. It's a fireside chat. It's done in a story format where you're watching how these characters are making decisions. And then it's allowing you, these books are allowing you to ask yourselves these very questions, overlaying them in your own unique journey and asking, where do I stand when it comes to navigating the process, controlling the energy, and finding and living fully in my purpose. I hope you've enjoyed this special edition of Power of the Pen. We look forward to seeing you next week, where we've got some great episodes coming up. And I want to just really emphasize, in fact, let me put this here. If you are interested in being a guest on Power of the Pen, you're a guest. To be a guest on Power of the Pen, let me ensure that I put this in here for you. Please email guest info to LaWanna Bradford, to LaWanna at bradfordgroupmtg.com. Excuse me, please email info to LaWanna at bradfordgroupmtg.com. And I think we have this correct. I apologize. It's one of those techie days, but it's all good. Here we go. Power of the Pen, email info to LaWanna at bradfordgroupmtg.com. We will have a member of our team reach out to you, get an intake form, learn about you, your book, or perhaps a book that inspired you that you want to share with the world. And we will see what we could do to get you in on fourth quarter, or at least first quarter 2026. Yes, you heard me say 2026, because we are filling up these remaining episodes very quickly, and we don't want you to miss out. We've got some amazing things that we offer to our guest authors, and once you reach out to us, we can share with you about how you can get a part of these offers and the visibility packages that we have. I am LaWanna Bradford, and I want to thank you so much for joining us for a special edition of Power of the Pen. And I look forward to seeing you next week, where we will discuss a book, a summary of Think and Grow Rich. We're going to pick 2 principles out of the summary book of Think and Grow Rich. And this will sort of dovetail into where we're leaving off now. And we're wrapping up the year with some key business books that we hope will help inform you, guide you, frame your walk as you prepare for 2026. And just remember, in life and in business, when your vision intersects with opportunity, success is inevitable. And I want to once again give a salute to our sponsor for this episode, Dr. Patricia Rogers, and the upcoming Entrepreneur Living a Dream Conference.
Join us for Entrepreneurs Living the Dream 2025 Conference on October 18th at the DoubleTree Hotel in Atlanta, 8:30 a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hosted by Dr. Patricia Rogers, CEO of Unity and Service and the Dynamic Visibility Team. Vendors, panelists, and speakers, this event is your opportunity to elevate your brand. Secure your seat at speakersconference2025.eventbrite.com. See you at the conference.